All right, what's up, everybody? JS Garrett here, and I'm here with Stephen Erkintalo. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, doing amazing.
All right, cool. All right, so I will just get right into this here. I'd put out a black magic challenge. I posted on Facebook looking for someone who is a skeptic, like 100% skeptical about whether or not black magic is real and whether or not we can actually cause action at a distance through these art forms. And you were the guy who took me up on it. So yeah, this is really cool. This is exciting. I've had several like other professional magicians and things like that on where I've done experiments with them and videoed their testimony before and after the experiment. But you know, it's something different to have someone who is a skeptic, someone who totally does not think this is possible. Because if I can convince you that it is, then that's doing something right there. And yeah. So give me a little bit of background about yourself, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, spiritual wise, I about 5 years ago, I've always been into the paranormal, kind of the same thing that everybody says in the paranormal field. They started out as a kid, they do this, yada yada yada. And about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I put on one of the TV shows that are on, and I said, I can do this, but better. And pretty much to skip through some years, I created a little group with somebody. It didn't work out well, and I kept going and growing and wanted more and more and more throughout the experiences. And I ended up being on a couple magazine covers. I had my own show put on Amazon Prime. The numbers skyrocketed, like 3 million within a week, based off how I do things. I put a gun to my head and cocked it back, told the spirits to pull the trigger. I've hung myself. I've drowned myself. I know a lot of people like in the field and outside of the field are terrified of a Ouija board. Yeah, I know it's such a, I'm like, I don't see the big deal in it. So I use it and I go live all the time, and I'll use it. I'll cut myself and bleed on it. I'll throw human ashes on it. I'll do anything that I can think of. Now, when it comes to more of the darker things, the black magic and a lot of these other rituals that people say they know, I've tried it with them, and even on my documentaries, and I'm like, this is your moment. Like, let's do it. Like, I want to film it. You said you can do it. Let's do it, because I want the darkest of the dark. That's all I care about. I don't care about the lady in white. I don't care about the little ghost children that's here. I want something so dark to just, boom, hit you, take it. I've experienced dark things, in my opinion, I feel like I have, throughout inviting things and doing different techniques and saying certain rituals and doing what I've looked up, like deeper research than the top search engines on Google, just deeper and finding these cults and whatnot. But I'm still not, nothing is happening. Like, I'm like, am I supposed to experience bad things? Am I supposed to see these things in my room? Am I supposed to hear a million different voices in my head, which I did growing up, but then everything disappears. So I'm like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be experiencing within it. So I, even the rituals that I've done with people, documentary style and ways, either they get cold feet or they have no idea what they're doing, and they didn't realize it was going to get to the point to where I'm like, it's go time. Show me what you said you're going to represent and do. And it's 99% of the time a huge waste of my time, which is like, and I got to scrap the whole footage, because I'm like, well, I just spent $1,000 on this location. Thank you for wasting my time. And you did absolutely nothing except draw some sigils, put them out, get nervous, light a candle, blow the candle out, and I saw nothing.
Wow. Okay. I can see how disappointed you would be with that. Honestly, that does not surprise me. I think that probably 90%, if not more, than the people who peddle magic and spiritual services are 100% full of shit. I'll agree with you on that one, 100%. And so let me ask you, now you and I have not talked. This is the first time we've talked face to face, other than messaging to set up this conversation, this interview here. Yeah. And a big part of why I wanted to sit down and talk with you first is if I'm going to embark on this with somebody, then I need to make sure that for one, that they are serious, and two, that they are not mentally ill, batshit crazy. And it doesn't seem like you are at all. It sounds like you come at this from a very logical point of view. And it also sounds like you're willing to get your hands dirty. Like, so, I mean, you've actually done ritual magic, like you've performed rituals and you haven't got any results from it, correct?
Zero results.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm not really sure what exactly I'm supposed to be experiencing. A lot of people will say, which I'm sure you've heard, oh, well, this bad thing happened to you, so that's what the demon is, and that's what the ritual is. I'm like, that's life. That's why bad things happen. Like, that's life. My tire got flat because I ran over a nail, not because I just did a little ritual.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, and I haven't experienced anything. I haven't really, I don't know what I'm supposed to experience. I think in my head, I have this expectation of what I should be experiencing. But then again, I feel like I should be experiencing that because of the individual that built it up, like this is what's going to happen. And oh my God, you're going to see these things, experience these things. So I'm like, okay, great. Like, give me nightmares. Good. I want them. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? And it doesn't happen. So maybe I have too big of an expectation for what I'm supposed to be experiencing, or I'm just not understanding what
well, ideally, when you practice ritual magic, you don't want bad things to happen to you. I mean, you're not like wanting to destroy your life or hurt yourself, correct?
Correct. I mean, will I not hurt myself? No, but would I want to test it to see if something can potentially ruin my life? Absolutely. I'm such a huge believer on, as long as it's happening within the spiritual realm and everything is being documented, I've preached over and over, I will sacrifice my life for this field as long as it's documented. There has to be a paper trail of, and a just fucking film, just any, I want it because I want it then to be put together so people can see this is real. And for the past 5 years, I built that solid brand to where nobody has ever questioned my footage. Nobody has ever questioned my logic, my theories, my intelligence, everything about it. They'll question other things like personal, like I'm bald. That's literally, those are insults. I'm like, okay, great, cool. That's all you got. So, well, anyways, I'm like rambling, but I've never had any of my footage or my paranormal experiences questioned. So I feel like as long as it's being documented and it's going to ruin my life, I'm game. Like, I'm willing to do I will do anything it takes in order to see if this stuff is real. Anything.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, first of all, I want to commend you and thank you for having the balls to take me up on this, for one. And what you just said, being willing to die for this, that's really what it takes to make the transformation into like a full-blown black magician. Like, you got to be willing to put everything on the line for what you were trying to achieve. Now, when I put the challenge out there, I was honestly expecting to get like a total asshole, like a total troll. Fuck you, magic's not real, you're full of shit. And then I was going to challenge him to do like a baneful experiment, like a curse, to see just how right or wrong that they actually were. But after talking to you, I don't think you're an asshole at all. I think you're a lot like I was coming into this. So I don't really want to do anything that might potentially harm you, even if it proved me right. I would not feel good about that. So what I'd like to do is do what?
I said we'll build up to that once, like the hurting things, I guess. If I start, we'll see how it goes. But thank you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to, if I'm going to do something baneful, it's going to be someone who deserves it. Like, that's really, I don't offer like curses and things like that to the general public. That's like special request, and it's usually limited to like rapists and pedophiles that I will actually do something that awful to. So, yeah, what I'd like to do is work with you a little bit. And since you are willing to get your hands dirty and take some risks and put everything on the line, I think it would be really cool if we did some experiments to where I would test some things out, the cause and effect on you, to see, see if I can juice you up full of some energy, or we can even pull some of that energy out of you and then put it back in later on if you're like, okay, that worked, But what I think would be really awesome to see come of this is if you were to follow some instructions and perform like a hardcore sacrificial blood magic rite and actually get the results that you've been looking for your entire life. And I think if you did, I think you would end up being a lot like me. You'd probably dedicate your entire life to that practice because you finally found something that was real. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, cool. I'm right or I'm wrong?
No, you're right. 100%. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, yeah, I think this is going to work out. I didn't know you were into television and things like that.
We didn't think about each other. I figured, I know when somebody messaged me about it, they're like, hey, this dude, he's like asking this, a couple people did actually. And they're like, he's looking for somebody that's right up your alley. I was like, well, what is it? And I said, I'm busy right now. You message him. Cause I get messages all the time like that, okay, it's like a thing. But I looked you up, went to your page and realized I was like, oh, I'm not friends with this person. Okay. So this could be interesting because normally the people I'm friends with, like in the field are just, they're, how people are. And so I was like, okay, I'm not Facebook friends with this person. They know nothing about me. I know nothing about them. Let's do it. So
that's why it's perfect. That's why it's perfect right there. And yeah, like I said, for everybody watching, this is the first time me and this man have chatted with each other, and I really didn't know what to expect getting on here and talking with you. But everything that you've said is something that I love to hear from somebody, because I work with people all the time. They'll book me for consultations or for rituals, and they'll say similar things. They're like, I've been chasing after this my whole life, and I've never had that experience that I'm looking for, or I've never been able to break through whatever wall that is in front of me to really make magic happen. Action at a distance, cause and effect. So if we set a goal, like we're going to do this specific ritual for this specific cause, and that specific cause then happens, then we can only logically attribute that to the ritual, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Cool. And I want to put some I want to put this in perspective too, because I'm not, what you were saying, you don't know if you're looking for the wrong thing or something like that. Okay, so I have never had a demon magically poof and appear in front of me like Darth Vader on a hologram. That's never happened. I've never seen that. I've seen manifestations in smoke that look like faces. I've seen pictures, like still shots of the fire from my rituals that look like faces and animals and things like that. They were they were pretty cool. And you could say, oh, well, that could have just happened, at the time you took the picture. Well, yeah, but after a while, after this happens so many times, you got to start saying, okay, I'm actually doing something here. Or if somebody comes to me with like an illness or a disease, and I do a ritual to try to heal that, and then it's magically better the next time they go to the doctor, after you do that so many times, you got to say, okay, we're doing something real here.
Incidentally, that's like getting struck by lightning every single day over and over. It's so rare. You know what I mean? It's rare that you can't, it's too many coincidences. You have to validate it to be something, and that's what it is.
All right, cool. So, all right, so let's get into some of the experiments that we could do here. I don't know if we want to start out with this or not, but I'm sure you do. What?
Are we gonna do like baby steps to see, and then just go right into it?
Well,
because I really have no idea. I mean, people are going to learn, I guess, like you said, that we've never talked before. So I have no idea what to honestly expect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we could start out with some baby steps if you'd like. We could, we could experiment with the box if you wanted to, the Radionics box. Have you heard of Radionics?
Nope.
Okay. All right, cool. Let me show you this. Now, this is an electronic piece of technology. It operates with electricity and frequency. All right, and so let me turn it around right here. All right, so there's a lot of different things you can do with this, but it's an excellent tool for getting cause and effect results. All right, so this is the target plate. You would put let's say for a vampiric experiment, if we were going to try to pull energy out of like a tiger or an MMA fighter or a bodybuilder or something like that and pump it into you, then what we would do is we'd put a picture of you right here, either that or some of your hair or DNA, blood, something like that. Which I'll say DNA does work better if you got some hair or some blood, but you know, I've also gotten results just by printing the picture out and writing the person's name and birthday on the back of it. So I mean, we'll get into that, whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to send me some hair or something, we can definitely do that.
I
So
can send you a vial of blood, like
or that would, yeah, I mean, shit, a small vial of blood, that'd be plenty to do all our experiments with, because I'm sure we're going to do more than one here. And you know, part of what I want to do here is also gauge just how potent this is from a skeptic's point of view. All right, so if we do an experiment and nothing happens, then I want you to get on here and say, you know, that didn't fucking work. Nothing happened. I didn't experience anything.
absolutely.
And, you know, I want you to be 100% honest about whatever result we get. So, I mean, that's why I asked for a total skeptic here, because I want authentic demonstration that is not placebo effect. That's not a mentally ill person that's going to imagine a bunch of crazy shit. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're perfect for this. All right. So let's say we wanted to juice you up with a lot of energy. All right. I'd put a picture of you right here. And then I would use these dials to dial into your specific frequency, your vibration. Okay. And this is a little sensor plate right here. So my left finger would be moving in a circular motion while I turn the dial with my other hand. And your finger will actually stick to the plate. You'll feel like a tingling sensation. Your finger will stick whenever you hit the right frequency. So that's how you dial it into somebody. It's almost like dowsing, but it's a little bit more scientific than that. And so then I would put the picture of the MMA fighter or the white tiger or whatever we decide to use for this on the trend plate and dial it into their frequency. And then I would use this knob right here to set the rate of frequency that we were going to siphon energy into you. Okay. And so once you get it all dialed in, you just turn the box on. You just hit the little power switch right there. And it takes a few hours, but after a few hours, you start to, and this is just my experience, like you start to really feel influx of physical energy that is more than what you're used to having on a daily basis.
And it's transferring from the one thing over to me or whoever blood or picture is on there.
Yeah, it's kind of like using it as a vampire box. We're siphoning the energy out of one person into another. All right. And so we can do this both ways. We could put your picture on the other plate and siphon all of your energy out of you and make you really tired. And then, you know, you seem like a pretty energetic dude. You look like you work out and stuff. So I'm guessing you're pretty healthy, right? Like you feel, you feel good on a regular basis. So if we were to do that and start pulling your energy out of you, and after 3 days, you're just like, man, I am fucking exhausted. Like I have no energy. Then we could attribute that to the box. And the same thing would go is if we put you on the target plate and you go to the gym and you're like, man, I've got twice as much energy as I normally have, you know, you could attribute that to the box as well. And so that would be a way to test out the power of the box itself.
That would be really cool to actually do. Like, I feel like that would be, that's extremely intriguing to me.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll test out the power of the box. I'll just set the dials and the frequencies and turn it on and let it run. And then we'll talk a few days later and you let me know what's happening and how you're feeling. And
then, are you just going to use a picture of me?
Yeah, I'll use a picture of you unless you want to send me some blood. I mean, that works the best. You know, don't send me like a syringe or a needle or anything, or some hair from your leg. You know, I find that like Polaroids and actual hair, DNA, blood work the best. But if I print out a picture of a MMA fighter and write their name and birthday on the back of it and then put it on there with my own blood, then it still works. Like I still feel that energy. And I actually won't be able to sleep if the box is on. Like if I turn that box on and use it like that, then I have to turn it off at least 4 or 5 hours before I go to bed. Otherwise, I've got too much energy and I can't sleep. And then I'll actually get out and go hiking. I'll go work out and see the difference in energy levels that I have compared to not using the box. And so an experiment like that would be a great way to test out the box, that piece of technology that demonstrates action at a distance. And then when you get into the more advanced experiments with that, then you start using the box in black magic rituals. All right. And so if I wanted to, let's say you had an injury and I wanted to accelerate the healing of that injury, then I could put the sigil of a spirit of healing like Raphael on the box, and I would trace over that in my own blood. And then I would put your picture or your DNA on the other side, dial it into both frequencies, and it actually would pull my energy out of me through that sigil that is of a spirit of healing. So the sigil is like an energetic signature. All right. So it's transforming that energy into healing energy and then pumping it into you in order to accelerate the healing of that problem. Or
that weaken you?
Do what?
Would that weaken you, being that you're using your blood?
Absolutely. It would be pulling my energy out of me. So after about 3 days, I would be lethargic. And I've actually done this. Good friend of mine, JD Temple, he got an infection from a cat scratch. Like this cat scratched him on the hand. He didn't go to the doctor, and it started swelling up his arm. He was getting streaks. And so he finally goes to the hospital, and the antibiotics weren't responding, or he wasn't responding to them. You know, they were saying like, he's probably going to die. Like he waited way too long to come to the hospital. And so that's what I did. I put the sigil of Raphael on the box with one of his fingernails that he had given me for things like this. I put his fingernail on the other end and traced over the sigil in my blood and dialed it into the frequencies, to the correct frequencies. And I let it run, and within 6 hours, he started responding to the antibiotics. And within 2 days, he was discharged. Whenever they said, you know, even whenever he started responding, they were like, okay, it's starting to work. Because I'm on the phone with the hospital, you know, talking to them on his behalf. And so they said, you know, we're going to need to keep him for at least 7 days, you know. And they ended up discharging him 2 days later because he made such a rapid recovery. And I was fucking exhausted, but it healed him, you know. Like I attribute that to the box, you know. And things like that, man, are really cool things that you can do with it. You can also use that to like manifest things. Like there's a guy named Charles Casimano, Uncle Chucky. Like he's actually used those techniques to like crash planes and shit like that. Yeah, like all right, there's a guy named Doc Mulder. I met him a couple of weeks ago, and he actually made it snow in Iran, I think. Like it was like a part of Iran or Iraq where the first time in recorded history, he was able to make it snow there. And I'm like, dude, that is fucking crazy. I've got to get into this. I've got to get one of these boxes and start experimenting with it. So I've experimented with healing people. I've experimented with alleviating chronic pain from injuries, and I've experimented with vampirism. Like I went to a zoo and I took a bunch of Polaroids of different animals, like zebras and tigers and all that shit. And I took a Polaroid of myself and I put it on the box, and I would pull the energy from that creature into myself, and I would feel it. Very noticeable effect. Well, one of the animals I took a picture of was a bull, and he was sick. All right, this thing was like snotting everywhere. It was obviously had like whatever bulls get, like a really nasty cold or virus or something. And I wasn't even thinking about it. I put that bull on there with my picture, and 4 hours later, I start like sneezing and running a fever, you know, and then I had all the symptoms of a full-blown sinus infection by the end of the day. And I'm like, man, what the fuck's going on? I haven't even left the house in 2 days. I should not be sick, you know? And then it dawned on me. I was like, whoa, that's the bull that looked really sick when I took the picture of him. But, yeah, so I go and I take the picture off, you know, and I reversed the frequencies, and within about 6 hours, I was better. So, I mean, just really weird shit like that. If I put an MMA fighter on there if I put the picture of the fighter before the fight, like whenever he's all jacked up, he's been, you know, preparing for this fight and he's like ready to go. If I put that on there with my photo, then I will feel like Superman. All right. But if I take a picture of him after he just got his ass beat, and then not only will I feel exhausted and feel like shit, but I was actually like getting sore spots on my jaw and stuff, feeling like I'd been punched, you know? So it's like, it takes the energy from that poor person at that point in time. So it's really interesting if you want to experiment with that.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a good definitely a first step to it. Or would you tell me what you're putting on that side? Or, okay, so I didn't know if I should start feeling things and be like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, unless you don't want to know, I can not tell you what to expect. If you would rather do it that way, you know,
whatever you feel would be best. Like, because I know, like, I'm gonna be the guinea pig. So if you feel like the experiment would be better by telling me or not telling me.
Okay, well, I don't think that it would matter one way or another whether I told you or not, as far as how it would affect how you feel. But if I were to put like a picture of somebody on there who was dying of Ebola and not tell you about it, and it made you really sick, like that's not something I would want done to me. And I don't do that to you unless that's what it takes in order to prove it to you.
Baby steps first. We'll baby step it up.
Baby steps. So I think what we should do first is I'll do it right here on camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing for the first experiment. I'll put unless you send me DNA, then I'll print out a picture of you and put it on there. And I'll print out like a really superb athlete and put it on there with you. And we'll let it run for 3 days straight and then talk at the end of that 3 days. And you can tell me, you know, have you been not able to sleep at night? Have you had more energy when you're working out? Do you feel more energy than you normally have? And that would be a great baby step. It's not going to be anything harmful to you. I will say too that if you leave it on there for too long, let's say I leave it on there for 10 days. All right, well, after about 3 days, that person that I'm draining is going to start to get exhausted. They're going to start to get sick after a while. And so if I continue to leave it on there for too fucking long, then it'll start transferring that tiredness and that sickness to me. So by doing it no more than 3 days, you know, you're not doing any real harm to the person that you're using on the other end of the box, because we don't want to hurt anybody. And, you know, we're going to get the peak performance out of that energy, because after about 3 days, they start to get really drained. And, you know, then it's going to have the opposite effect on you. So, yeah, we could do that. And then if you wanted to, the next experiment we do with it is I could put you on the trend and siphon your energy into, say, me, you know, or anybody else that if there's somebody you know that you want to give that energy to, I could put them on there and let them run for a few days and then see if you feel tired, see if you feel lethargic. And yeah, I guess in that case, we'd leave it on there until you said take it off, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna push it. I'll push the limits. We're gonna do it. Yeah, I feel like that'll be a good first one. I'll send you some blood. I have no hair on my head, so I'll probably use some facial hair.
Oh yeah, me neither, man. I'd have to use facial hair.
I'll film it. I'll film me doing it, saying, you know, this is what I'm doing and what I'm doing it for. I'll cut myself. I'll put the stuff in a little vial. I'll have a bunch of them. I'll ship it to you. So then, and I'll send you that footage too. So then you can, you know, whatever you want to do with it, at least we have a documented trail that, hey, this is the actual vial. You'll have it. You'll show it. I'll be like, that's exactly what it is.
No,
and
yeah, we'll document everything, dude. I want everything on video as long as you're cool with it. Because this is like we're filming a little documentary here using cause and effect black magic experiments. So I mean, yeah, that'd be really cool. So I will advise like not cutting yourself. I never tell anyone to cut themselves. When I want to take blood out, I use like a little hypodermic needle. It's like a little IV line. I just tap a vein and pull some out with a syringe and then squirt it into a vial.
Come out better.
Yeah, that'd be a lot better, because if you cut yourself, then you know it's gonna get you could hurt yourself for one, And you know, you'd have to cut pretty deep to get a vial full of blood. You'd have to hit a vein or something like that, which is, it's so much safer if you just draw blood with a needle. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's what I would do then.
I'm just used to like cutting myself like my hand or palm on a Ouija board, so the blood is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we can do that. I'm not used to filling up vials of blood. I'm just used to spreading it everywhere. So yeah, we'll do it that way.
All right, cool, cool. Yeah, so send me a little vial of blood. You can put some facial hair in there too if you want. And yeah, we'll go ahead. As soon as I receive that, we will jump back on, and I will set the box up right here on camera. And if you want, we'll start with that. And if you want to keep going after that, then you know, I don't want to push you into doing anything crazy here that you're not comfortable with, and definitely don't want to scare you off. So
I feel like I'm already like, this is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like I'm literally already prepared to do like drink urine and do pig sack. Like I'm like, what am I gonna be doing right now? And I'm like mentally, I'm like, I'm ready. Let's do it, because I want to really see this.
have you ever
I mean, I'm not gonna like sacrifice a virgin or a baby, but
yeah, no, we don't do that here either. But have you ever seen any of my sacrificial rituals?
I did not. I didn't want to look at anything because I wanted this to really be like the first time learning anything about you. So like if I seen anything you posted, I'm like, I scroll by quick. I'm not trying to look because I don't want it to be like, oh, let me dig deeper into this guy, see what he's about. I want it to just be like, no, I don't want to know anything. So my mind isn't, you get it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's how I would be too. But I do look forward to getting to know you a little bit, and I look forward to doing these experiments, and I look forward to sending you some of the videos that I record of my personal rituals, because I think that's probably the type of thing you were looking for when you were filming these other people, when you were disappointed.
I'd love to look at them.
All right.
Now that we've seen this, I would love to look at them.
Cool, cool. So yeah, I'll send you some videos like the rite of deification and things like that. These are authentic rites of blood and animal sacrifice, and as well as testimonies from people after they've had it done. And I think that's what we're probably going to work our way up to here. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think I would like to do something like that for you in the future after we take these baby steps. Because that's what's really going to blow your mind right there, or something like that.
Yeah. All right.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So you're going to send me some blood, and I guess just let me know when I'll send you my address, and let me know when that's on the way in the mail. And as soon as I get that, we'll jump back on and we'll do the first experiment.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you for being open-minded and willing to do something like this, and just for having the balls to get out there and say, fuck, I want to find out what's real, man. Because that's how I was, man. I was willing to die to get my hands on something tangible, and I almost did it a few times. But fuck yeah, dude. That's the attitude that makes a great sorcerer right there. And I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to say that after we get done doing our experimentation and path working, I think you're gonna become a full-blown magician in the near future. That's what I think is gonna happen from this.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it.
Fuck yeah, brother. Talk.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. All right. Take care, everyone.